It's turning. There it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Jenny Wise from WiseMind Soul Warrior, and I am so excited to have Melissa Mong with us. She is a dear friend, a dear soul sister I have known for many years from back in Pennsylvania college days. So she has known me a long time, and we are both recovering perfectionists. And she is going to share about her experience with WiseMind Soul Warrior and also how she came to yoga. So before we get started, I did also want to mention really quick, we have a bonus that's going on right now. And so before we start talking, I just want to mention this. We have a $1,500 bonus that is going on through actually today. So if you schedule a call, not just for today, but for this week, but you schedule it today, you're eligible for this it's a $1,497, $1,500 bonus, and it's a 14-day cleanse. And so the cleanse is actually a detox, and it's a gut cleanse. And it's something I'm going to take you through. You're going to have a little video for 14 days that I'm going to walk you through. You also are going to have handouts for that. And you also are going to have some videos with our guest speaker who has 30 years of experience in this. And he also has studied in India and Los Angeles and the Philippines. Okay, so this is a really valuable bonus. And if for those of you that are going to choose to work with other students or coaching to do this type of kind of Ayurveda or detoxing work, you can use the handouts with other students. So I just want to mention that before we get started. I will put the link in the comments, and then we're going to get started. So it's wisemindsoulwarrior.com/book. I'm just going to put that in the comments so it's there. Okay, that will take you right to the consult call page. All right, so Melissa, my dear soul sister I've known for over 20 years. So tell me, tell the audience rather, how we connected. And for example, like a little bit of, not a lot, but just a little bit of our history. And then also how we connected back in 2020. We reconnected, and you were part of our online mastermind program, and you're now part of our yoga teacher training program and also a transformation coach. So let's start with that and what that experience has been like first.
Well, I think the best thing to start is where we first met. And we met in college at Clarion University. And we met through the Miss America pageant system. We were both dedicated to finishing our degree, I think. And we needed money. So where do we go? We go to the Miss America pageant system to raise money for scholarships. So we have some money to go to school. So our loans aren't huge at the end of the 4 years or extended period of time. And I used to see pictures of you and your daughter online on Facebook every once in a while, that you would be coming to Florida to Disney World. And I'm like, well, I live right off the interstate. She should swing by. But I never reached out. I was just always one of those quiet people. I guess they're, you're looking and seeing people, they're migrating past you. And I always wished and hoped. But in 2020, we connected again, and it was through that series of 5 consecutive 5-day challenge. And it was interesting because I think at that time I was coming up to 2 years of unemployment. So I was in an industry, a natural industry, and we had a huge shift, and things just kind of change. And I was trying really hard to get back into the industry because I loved it. It's like family. And doors kept on closing on me. And it was frustrating at the time because I'm raising my daughter. And you just happened to end up in my lap.
No coincidence. There's the universe showing up again.
And, and sometimes it's just not in our timing. Because the last thing at that moment that I wanted to do was to take extra added income that I had set aside to spend it on working on myself. And my thought process is like, well, why do I need to work on myself? I need to take care of my daughter and I. But in reality, I needed to work on myself. Because there, if we take a look at those voices in the back of your head that have been there for a long time, and they just keep on chattering and keep on chattering, they can beat you down. I mean, I had some couple dark nights of the soul in those 2 years. But so one of the things that I realized that I challenged with was my challenge was being a perfectionist. And I think you and I connected on several bases during that time of when you were teaching and when we would have one-on-ones. There, I think I laughed the other day, and I think I said maybe it's a Western PA thing. That it's like hereditary. So maybe we should go back within the pattern of our family to see that it's perfectionist, perfectionist, perfectionist. Then we get to how do we break those patterns? So those things that you were sharing during that 5-day really spoke to me.
Yeah. And I remember, and I think also to your point about the family of origin and getting to the root cause, which is something that is a key part of what we do in the program. It's an essential part of what we do actually right out the gate in module 1. We start getting into the family of origin, the root cause of the samskara patterns, the behavior, the perfectionists, all the inner critics, anxiety, depression, getting to the root cause of all of it, right? Because if you don't get to the root cause, you can't heal it, right? You have to heal it. You have to dig, right? You have to excavate and dig in order to heal, right? In order to transform. And you have to release that stuff. And I 100% agree with you. It'd be interesting to see with, like self-sabotage. I feel like that is also inherently in my family of origin also, of like beating yourself up, like that pattern of the inner critic. Of even my parents even do it now, where I can see it now, where they beat themselves up about things they should not be beating themselves up about. It's like constantly like nothing is ever enough, like and it's funny you brought up like the Miss America stuff too, because I actually had posted about that probably about 2 years ago. It was a year or 2 years ago. And I remember Ginger making a comment and you making a comment. And it was actually the reason why I posted it. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about this, by the way, because just for everybody that's listening, this is not pre-planned. Like this is us just having a legit conversation, right, about this, right? That's what these interviews are, is you're getting me live. Like this is not like pre-rehearsed about, what we're about to talk about. But I remember like posting about that and like seeing a picture of myself with a crown, like without me, I'm about to like get emotional, Melissa, I can feel it. Of like seeing myself with a crown, right, from Miss Pennsylvania and Miss America, and like looking back at myself in my 20s, right, this is like my mid 20s, right, I'm like 23, 22, doing this stuff. And I inherently, as you mentioned, started the programs because of scholarship money and because somebody showed up in a yoga class that I was not yoga, aerobics class, like a step aerobics class that I was teaching, recruited me in one of those classes. It wasn't me seeking it. It sought me. Okay. So the point being, like, it was a beautiful experience around like learning about how to interview. Like, I remember being like, oh my gosh, like when I went to job interviews, when I got out of college, I rocked it because I had that experience from, 5 people in a panel, right? Like interviewing and questions. And I remember working in like a professional career thing they had at the Clarion University, where they practiced with you, for interviewing, and then getting up in front of a stage of people, obviously, like when they asked you questions, and then singing in front of all those people, like having that experience was, and like bonding and meeting people like you and Ginger and other women that I bonded with that was like a beautiful experience. Now, the other piece of it, though, that I don't really talk a lot about, which is what I was posting and kind of blogging about a couple of years ago, was what was happening behind the scenes of the perfectionist of like nothing ever being good enough, right? So no matter how many times I practiced singing, no matter how many times I practiced interviewing, how many times like do I look okay in a bathing suit? Like having to get up in front of people in a bathing suit, like how like traumatizing that was in retrospect. Like, but behind all of that was like the insecurity, right? And so to look at like if I got up there now, like being a totally different person, like totally like confident in myself and loving myself. But when you look at yourself like 20 years ago, like a 20-some-year-old doing that, it was crazy. And I also wanted to make a comment. I do remember, Melissa, like where you were when you and I got on that consultation. And, you know, that you were in that place of transition, you know, moving from your old corporate world, right? And so that was like this perfect storm of, again, me showing up back in your life, right? And us reconnecting back in 2020. And I knew you needed that.
Well, because we had parallel paths, separate. We were not in the same industry, but we had those parallel paths of the rat race that we were running,
Yes.
chasing. And
Yes.
you can't keep that up forever.
Mm-mm. You know, and Melissa and I both were in the corporate space. We both had a very stressful, like she said, no downtime type of position. And like she said, you can only do that for so long. So that's part of my story that I've shared, that I
Yeah.
burned myself out in 2013 because I pushed myself so hard, because I am a recovering workaholic. I am a recovering perfectionist. I am a recovering all the taskmasters that we've talked about, all four of them. So, Melissa, tell us a little bit about, and then I'm going to get into your yoga journey, but share for a moment about what it was like to get on with me when we did a consultation. What was that like to share with people that have never gone on a call with me? They may not know me. What was that like to get on a consultation with me?
I think for me, and this is going to be different for everyone, and it was more of a challenge because I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask my closest friends, you know, what is my personality type? And even more so when I was working,
Mm-hmm.
it's that, oh, she's calm and collective. Everything on the surface is great. But underneath, my feet were like a little duck. And I think getting on with you and exposing my insecurities was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it was hard for me to get started. But once we got started, it was easy because I wasn't being judged.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in our society today, whether it's work related, family related, friendship related, there's some type of judgment. And it is, at least I feel that, but it might be also the pressure that I put on myself, more
Mm-hmm.
so in my past when I was working, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in my career for 17 years. I put a lot of pressure on myself. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was more judgmental towards myself, and I projected it onto others, thinking that I was being judged back. So it was very difficult for me to get on with you. But once we started communicating,
Mm-hmm.
it was completely different, because that judgment, I did not feel that judgment from you. It was just a process of, you know, connecting, and I felt like you understood. And then
Mm-hmm.
I came to realize Jenny does understand. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's not, you have lived it, you have done it, and you've come through it. And this is where, if we take a look at, okay, beyond that, those individual consultations that I had with you, you know, my continuing education is still going on with you, because there's always, you have lived it, you have done it. You can help others that are in those situations. But for me, that continuing ed is vital, because those markers that you have from your past still pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense.
And another thing too that I want to share that I think is really important. So that point where I was in my life when we reconnected, I was scared to death from a financial perspective. And I want to make this clear to other people because I know that a lot of people are probably feeling the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You made it affordable. It wasn't, I had an offer of a discount. Love discounts. I always look for free samples of food when I go into Whole Foods. Not so much anymore, but yes. But I took advantage of the discount that you offered. And
Mm-hmm.
there was different payment plans that I could choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And that commitment that I made was still a scary commitment because of where I was in life.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started the program, I saw the importance of the program that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I needed it. And
Yes.
I needed it because I needed to become a better human for myself, but also I had at that time, Maya's 13 now, I
Mm-hmm.
had to be able to assist the challenges that she was just starting at that time that I started studying with you. I had no idea. But she started having some challenges,
Yeah.
and the things that you were teaching me, I was able to share with her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, and I had no idea, Jenny, no idea. I thought I was doing it for myself. I was making an investment in myself, but that investment actually I made into my daughter. That investment I've been able to make into people that I've only met maybe once or never have. That investment I've been able to put into my family and friends.
I
So
love
it's, yeah, it's not just, it wasn't, 2020 was not about Melissa. It
Mm-hmm.
was about everything and everyone that touched me got to benefit from what I was learning.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, it continues. And that's what it's about. It's about sharing. Whether you're a parent, the most important thing is that you share that goodness with your children. If you're a professional, the most important thing is you share that goodness with your professional work.
Mm-hmm.
Family, I'm going to call them family. If you have a business that is helping and assisting with others, it bleeds right over to that because there are things that we are always learning. I have always had some type of yoga practice. I've had some type of meditation practice. But what I learned through you is that reverse that psychology side of everything and how you work through that darkness.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's been vital.
Mm-hmm. Girl, I love, first of all, if whoever wants to share as you join, let us know that you're here and put your name in the comments so we can see who's here, because if you don't, we don't know who's here. So please do put it in the comments. And Melissa, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm glad you brought that up because we have had many moms, including you and including myself, that have taken this work and taken a lot of the journaling exercises, like, for example, be your own best friend journaling exercise, which is an inner critic exercise, or different mindful self-compassion. And they have taken those and done them with their daughters or with their family members. And I 100% support that. And we, of course, would never, we would charge you once and you can share it, with your family. And, it is creating a ripple effect is what you just described, right? It's creating a ripple effect, right? So it's like, okay, Melissa's working on herself, but that ripples into, as a mom, as a business owner, for those of the people in corporate, and then, that ripples out, right? So it's just like, that's why we do this work. And that's why I offer it the way I do, because I do want to create a ripple effect. And I've seen it. I've seen it with all the students I've worked with and the one-on-one students, that came back and been like, this is affecting my family. This is affecting my relationship with my husband, whatever it is, my business, my corporate, role. Me as a mom, I've seen it many, many times. Like, it just naturally ripples out. And especially the more you learn to love yourself unconditionally, and you learn to not judge yourself, then it ripples out, right? That naturally ripples out, like what you just
Mhm.
described earlier, that you were beating yourself up and judging yourself, and then you naturally project that onto other people around you, right? And it just unconsciously, subconsciously happens. But the reverse can also happen, right? When you start to rewire those patterns and you start to heal and transform those patterns, it also happens in a positive way, right? Where that self-love and unconditional love and all of that starts to go out to everybody else around you. So Christina is joining us from Alaska, and if there's anyone else who joins, I see some other folks that are here. Let us know where you are joining from, or just put your name in the comments. So I am going to put the link in the comments one more time. This is the WiseMindSoulWarrior.com page. And that one will give you information. And also, there's about 5 places where you can schedule a consult call. So, again, that's wisemindsoulwarrior.com. And just a reminder about the bonus that we have offering, the 14-day detox and cleanse. So, you can schedule a call today through the weekend. So, as long as you schedule one today, between today and the weekend, you're good for that bonus. Okay. All right, so let me go through. So Melissa, you mentioned your yoga practice. Do you want to share a little bit about that, around like your personal yoga practice, your meditation practice, anything else you've learned so far in the program? I'm not sure how much you've gotten yet into breath work. So maybe share a little bit around that as well.
I mentioned before that at one point I had a pretty strong yoga practice, and that yoga practice has kind of moved into more meditation practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is more like clearing and calming the mind. But one of the things that you taught that I really enjoyed was more of the breath work. So
Mm-hmm.
incorporating that breath work into my meditation practice has been extremely helpful.
Right.
And quite frankly, when I start to get a little anxiety building up in my body, that breath work is very transforming.
Good. Well, another way that you can kind of think about doing yoga off the mat is the yoga psychology work and the
Mhm.
journaling work. And that is the work of healing the inner critic, right? So I know you said you already started to transform your perfectionist and some of those other inner critics.
Yeah, and to me, it's the mat that I had a relationship with. And taking it off to the mat to me gives me more of that meditative kind of vibe and feel to it. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, it also can be looked at as taking your yoga off the mat and putting it into a different form.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a minute about the training and your experience with working with a mentor, with working with Chrissy, and also the learning management system, as far as structure, of the learning management system. I know you've worked with it now twice, once with the mastermind and now with YTT. The manual, just kind of give us a little bit for people that want to hear more about the actual structure and the ease of use of the program.
So the program, pardon me?
I was going to say, the fact that I come in live also is another piece of it.
So the fact that you're live and you have access to you live is wonderful. And if I don't make it that day, I can always watch it later.
Mm-hmm.
So the platform, you always have access to material when you need it. So we all have busy lives.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing whatever we can to keep floating every day. And knowing that we have the flow of that easy access to material that we need to continue with our learning and our training is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there has been, in the past, a long time ago, I've taken some classes, but material I could not share. The fact that your material is shareable is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, that's the whole thing of bringing other people in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're supposed to. So, in having a mentor to work with is great. There's a group of us that we meet once a month, and I absolutely love it. because I get to see what their practice is like and how I can incorporate those things that actually resonate with me through their practice into my practice. So
Mhm.
it's a continuing learning process
Yeah.
because we only know what we know until we see something else that resonates that we can bring in,
Hmm.
which that's probably the best part for me.
Yeah. Well, I love that we have the mentor options for you all, because the mentor is meant to support you even further. So you will have, for those that do join, Christina is one of them who's already joined. So congratulations. She's on with us now. That you get to practice, 90 minutes a month with yourself practicing and also other students in your small group. So we're limiting this to 20 students. We are capping it. And the seats are filling up. I just had 2 more people sign up this morning. And in that group of 20, there will be smaller groups, like 4 groups of 5 students. So you're going to get a lot of hand holding, and it's meant to stay small for that reason, so that you guys get this extra, hand holding and extra support. So you also are going to have a private Facebook group as well. And in that private Facebook group that will only be for the summer cohort of 2022, you'll have support there as well. And then you also have the option to do peer groups. So that's another kind of third layer of additional support. So you're going to have me live in the Facebook group, going live probably twice a month. You'll have the mentor group once a month. That'll be for practicing, because remember, any YTT, you have to practice. It's not just a WiseMind thing, it's any YTT. Okay. So in order to get a certification, you got to practice. It's just like anything else, right? If you are a counselor, a doctor, right, you practice. You have a practicum, you have an internship, right? So there's no pass fail, so no pressure. It's just a safe place for practicing on a Zoom call. No one's going to get failed. Okay. No one gets failed. And then, as I mentioned, you have the option for the peer group. And so we are super excited to be able to support you here, like through this process. So, and I'm honored. I'm absolutely honored I mean, we've had so many fun discussions over the past couple of weeks, including Anita and others that have talked about their experience with the training and with the retreats and all the things that we've done. And it's just such an honor, really. It's a privilege to be able to sit back and watch all you, like to watch, your transformation from us connecting in 2020 to where you are now, and then where you're going to be 6 months from now, 12 months from now. I get goosebumps talking about it because it just lights me up so much. And it truly is an honor to get to sit back and watch everybody doing their healing and transformation work. So for the students that, again, may not know me, or maybe they've only watched a few of my videos, right? Again, what would you tell those students to get on a call, right? To get on a 30-minute call with me, and to book a call if they can today for this week. And also, what would you tell a student that's like, okay, I'm considering joining the program? What would you tell those students?
Do you remember the Nike commercial? Where I gone with this, Jenny?
Are you going to say just do it?
Just do it.
You're about the 5th person who said that, by the way, in the past 2 weeks.
You know why? It's because we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there with that back and forth within our mind and the little talking heads that are here. So yeah, just do it.
And there is no, right, hashtag ready is a lie, right? You're never 100% ready.
No.
And I can tell you for myself, every time, and I'm going to get goosebumps talking about this too. Every time I've stepped into, a teacher training, my own teacher training, every time I've started a new counseling or whatever it was I was starting, I was never 100% ready, right? It's like you're going to still have a little bit of fear and doubt, but you do it in spite of that, right? So the healing and the transformation and the inner work that needs to happen, the family of origin work, the root cause work, the releasing the patterns that aren't serving you, letting go of the things that aren't working for you anymore, that becomes more important than any fear or any uncertainty or any doubt. And for those of you that are listening that are yoga teachers or counselors, we've had multiple counselors. We just had a counselor sign up today, this morning, that are feeling called to pull in this yoga work into your practice. Do it.
Just
okay. Just do it, right? Or if you're a student, even if you're a beginner student, we have beginner students in the program as well. We also have corporate women that are working full-time jobs. We have wellness coaches. We have yoga teachers. So the point is, even if you don't know if you're going to teach yoga, that's okay. We actually have a handful of people that are not even getting a certification. They're not doing the practicing because they're just doing all the other work. So much of this program is your true deep inner work so that you can be the best version of yourself. And also for those of you that do decide to teach, you are doing your own work so you can show up even more deeply for your students, right? Because you can't take somebody through something you've not gone through yourself, right? You have to go through this journey of healing and transformation so you can show up. And I can tell you, every single minute, hour, breath that you spend investing in this, you will get it back tenfold. And I believe in that 100%.
Well, if you look at the start of my journey was just to try to get myself on track again. And it wasn't just Melissa. But I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah. Because just to share, you know, Melissa and I are both single moms, right? We both also went through divorces. And we've had a lot of things that, as Melissa mentioned earlier, that were in parallel, right? We both had the 15-year corporate career. You know, we both went through divorces. We both are single moms. We both have had our own healing and transformation and family of origin work that we've needed to do as part of that healing process, right? We both are recovering perfectionists. You're probably a recovering workaholic too, I'm guessing, right? So that's why when Melissa and I got on a call in 2020, it was like talking to an old soul sister because, you know, we connected way back, right? When we were in college, you and I always connected, but then it just was like all these other things that happened. And then we reconnected again, right? Right when the universe needed us to connect again. Right. And so here we are again in 2022.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Still connecting.
It's such a beautiful thing. And really, I'm so grateful, Melissa, to have you be part of the program. And you're now a transformation coach. And I'm so honored to have you like be part of the program and also to be supporting the program. And I'm so grateful, like even beyond words, really. I'm truly honored and I'm so excited. I can't wait to see like what you do with it, you know, once you graduate.
Well, thank you, Jenny, because you opened the door. You gave me that. So I appreciate it.
Of course. Of course. Okay, so you heard what Melissa said. Melissa said, just do it. Okay. Even if even if you get on a call, there's no obligation, right? I'm definitely not a pushy person. Like I'm here to just walk you through, okay, here's what you're struggling with. Here's the things that are not working for you anymore. Here's the things you want to change, whether that's perfectionism, any inner critic, depression, anxiety, whatever it is. Here's where I want to go. Here's the things I've tried. You know, I've done talk therapy, I've done medication, I've done other coaching programs, whatever it is. And this is the gap that I have. And we're going to talk about here's how I've worked with other students that might be similar to what you're dealing with. And does the program work? And is it a fit or not? And that's okay if it's not, but that's really what it is. So you're going to get something out of it, regardless if you join the program or not. And I'm also here to make sure that you're ready to step into this healing journey, right? I want to really see where you are emotionally and mentally, you know, mental health wise and all of that. Are you ready to step into this, right? Or would I recommend you, you know, maybe see a therapist more, right? So that's also part of why we have these conversations and why we don't just let you go to a page and just purchase on a page. Okay. So this is part of the process. The other reason is also, like Melissa mentioned, I do many different payment plans, all different types of payment plans. And I always try to take that into account So if all different people are coming from all different finances and all different budgets. And so I'm going to walk you through what those options are. And I'm going to come as close as I can to try to give you the best payment plan possible that fits for your budget. Because if somebody is emotionally ready and they are energetically ready and they are timing ready to step into this, I don't want the finances to be the thing to hold you back. So I do my absolute best, and many, many people, including Melissa and Archana and Anita and other people, have shared that I truly do care, and I want you to be able to be part of this if you want to be and you're ready to be. Okay. So I am sending you all so much love, light, and blessing. Melissa, any last words for these beautiful students that might hear this replay or that are on with us right now?
It's just, it's serendipity. You find yourself in places where you're meant to be, and you're on the call for a reason.
Right.
I would just say, just do it. Call Jenny.
Yeah. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yep. Yeah.
just like I have had teachers, right, that I was fortunate enough to cross my path, right? So I have been, of course, the student, right? I have been the student for over 10 years now, and my teachers have arrived, and now I'm passing that on to all of you. I'm sharing all the things that I have learned over 10 years because I want you to get there in less time. I don't want you to have to go to the dark night of soul that I did in 2013 and go to the place of burnout or breakdown in order to get to this place, right?
Even if you're at burnout or breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it was pretty hard on myself when we reconnected.
Yes. And I remember that. You were definitely in a place of self-sabotage at that point. Like,
oh, yeah.
Definitely beating yourself up. Okay, so I'm going.
It's all good. And
It's
what?
all good now.
It's 30 minutes of time for yourself.
That's it, right?
Sit down, make some tea, chat with Jenny for a half hour. You'll learn something. I promise.
All right, I'm going to put it in the comments one more time. Again, it's wisemindsoulwarrior.com/book. That will take you right to the consult call page. Okay. So I am sending you all so much love, light, and blessing. Again, Melissa, I'm so, so grateful for you taking the time to be here because I value your time. I value everyone's time. Time is a finite resource. I know you're super busy. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Thank you for supporting the program, for being a transformation coach. I'm super grateful for that. And I cannot wait to continue to connect with you about all the wonderful things that are going to happen. And again, I'm sending you and everybody else that watches this so much love, and namaste. And we will talk to you all soon. Thank you, Melissa.
Namaste, Jenny. Peace.
Okay. Peace. Bye, girl.